Hello, welcome back. It occurs to me when I posted that video about being a fan fiction writer that I didn't actually tell you anything. I didn't really explain anything. I just kind of flashed my stuff, and that was it. Yes, I dabbed. Sorry. um, uh, for me, fan fiction writing is a way to release the demons, to give them a safe playground in which to play. For a lot of fan fiction writers, that's what it is. And a particular fandom will resonate with you. Make sure that this is going to be an advice video, for lack of a better term. Just make sure that the fandom you pick is one that you know and one with which you're very, very comfortable. Um, I mean, I can't see a Mormon doing 50 Shades of Grey. Just no. Just no. Make sure it suits your sensibilities, that you're not doing it to rebel against the status quo in your family or in your community, that you're doing it purely out of love for the craft, because it takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of effort. Make sure that the language you speak and that you've learned in school, that you're very familiar and comfortable enough with it to understand grammar, sentence structure, syntax, and use the internet. Point blank. If you're confused about the word, the use of a specific word because it seems similar to another one, although a lot of other non-English speaking countries don't have the same issue that America has with, 15 words that have the same meaning kind of thing, or 25 words that all sound the same but have different. Sorry. We stole our language from 100 other languages. Yeah, yeah. And we Americans have made a talent out of being um, idiotic when it comes to creating new words and putting them out there in the ether for everyone to absorb and use and confuse. So, right for you. I, as I said, a lot of us find it cathartic. Helps us sick up all that seething, boiling, whatever that's down deep in our soul from the way we grew up or the way we were treated, or um, the traumas in our lives. It helps us escape from that. We can, through the words on the page, we can be that hero, that savior of ourselves, that strong person who actually stood up for themselves and spoke back and took control of their lives, when we all know that we don't have control of our lives. It gives us a sense of accomplishment, even if it's through someone else, through a character on a page. Um, don't let mom, dad, brother, sister, cousin, aunt, uncle, best friend, uh, perfect stranger. Don't let anybody like that read your stories and proofread your stories and go over your stories. They're not going to be honest with you. They are going to, unless they're like me, and there aren't a whole lot of people like me who don't give a flying flip if I hurt your feelings. I'm going to tell you how it is. If you're upset and you're offended, be upset and offended, but take the advice for what it is. if you're gonna write something and want to post it on the internet, have a trusted teacher take a look at it. Have a trusted adult that's not part of your family, not part of your friend group, but you can rely on them. Have them take a look at it. They can tell you where you're making your mistakes. They can suggest to you how to go do this or do that to fix it before you post it. There are far too many stories on the fan fiction websites that are just, oh my God. Um, they seem like they're written by bright 5-year-olds. They're painful to read. They're a bitch to slog through. And you usually come out at the other end disappointed that it wasn't better, even though the idea was really good, and pissed at yourself for wasting all that time reading it in the first place. Been there. Make sure that you are intimately familiar with the fandom in which you want to write. I have some fans who have talked to me about wanting me to write some sort of Disney Harry Potter mashup, because Harry Potter is my fandom. I 62 years old, have lived through a lot, have lost a lot. I am too flippin' jaded to be able to look at Disney. I don't care how dark it might be. I'm just too jaded to look at Disney with any sort of eye towards whimsy or happiness or any of that other shit that Disney seems to be inundated with. I appreciated Aladdin because it was different. It was darker, and it had Robin Williams. Yes, I'm talking about the animated Aladdin. I have a great deal of respect for Will Smith for what he's accomplished. I have a great deal of respect for a lot of the work he's done, but no, just no. Live action Disneys that weren't live action in the first place, they don't translate well, because there are things you can do on an animated cell that you can't do in real life without a shit ton of CGI, and it just makes it look awful. Anywho, research. That's what all this is. I'll pick up this one for my daughter's pictures. She colored some and then handed them off to me. I'm like, oh, those would make great covers for my notebooks. This one has headmasters and headmistresses, or headmasters and deputies, house parents, library staff, and the school board of governors. What I did, because I'm awful at making up names, I made up one really, really, really good name for a story. What I did was I went on the internet, the lovely, lovely internet, and I researched actors and actresses and characters in movies, TV shows, and anime who had those jobs. Headmasters, headmistresses, principal, vice principal, that kind of thing. And then I wrote down their names. I started doing this probably, I want to say, about a year ago, because it was such a struggle to come up with original names, and I came up with one really decent original name. And so I figured I'll just pull characters from pop culture. And I started adding those names, and my readers were ecstatic. Not only do they enjoy my stories for the stories, but they also enjoy my stories for the little pop culture nuggets I drop in when I throw in a character's name. And that just inspired me to do all that research. I've got a book on demons. I've got a book on addresses. There was a website, madisafish.com. I'll find it later and post it for the next video. The girl lives in the UK, and she took the stories, she broke them down and dissected them as far as describing locations for each of the primary residences and such, and gave a good general description and idea of where they would be located based on distances and direction and wind flow and, airspeed and all that other stuff. And she was quite good at it. So what I did was I took those descriptions and I went on the ether web and looked up houses for sale in those areas that might look like something a rich pureblood would own. Those addresses are in my address book. I've also got abandoned castles all over the world, castles for sale all over the world, so that I have Slytherin Castle and just all kinds of good stuff. For school, that one was fun. For school, what I did was I looked up the teachers. I looked up people for like legitimacy and occlumency. Blah, blah, blah. I looked up people who were telepathic, because that's pretty much what it is. It's a form of controlled telepathy, reading someone's mind and just guarding your mind from someone else through that telepathic skill. And so that those are telepaths for the mind arts. Apparition, that movie with Hayden Christensen where he just pops. He's in there. His character is in there. There is so much that you could find on the internet that would cover what it is you're looking for as far as occupations for characters and character names. I spent a lot of time researching. So yeah, do your research. Personally, I like to have a bit of realism in my stories. Magic is all well, fine, and good. It's a great fantasy to have, and maybe someday scientists will discover something that makes magic more real. But until then, it's a great fantasy to have. It's fun to play in. But I like a little reality with my fantasy, so I'll do research on World War II to talk about Tom's past, or I'll do research into the child abuse laws in the UK to see what they were like at that time, so I have a better idea of how to write my characters. Research. I've got research into guns and ammunition, velocity, bullet velocities, just all different kinds of things. Because let's face it, the magical world, though they isolate themselves, can't stay isolated forever with satellites and GPS, and they can't exclude themselves from the human race forever. So the reality of the Muggle world will have to impinge on their world. There's no other way for it. It's just, it is what it is. I try to meld both worlds as much as I can while still keeping them separate enough for safety's sake as far as the magicals are concerned. But yeah, the more research you do, the more reality you put into your stories, the richer and more fabulous they become. But you need to know how to write first. That's the very first step. So yeah, do your due diligence. Make sure that the words that you're using are the right words. If you're confused, type in a question in your browser saying, like, what word should I use when I want to talk about someone coloring their hair? And they will give you a list of words. Also, try not to use the same exact word for whatever it is you're talking about 100 times in a paragraph. That's monotonous. Go to thesaurus.com and you type in the word that you want to have alternates for, and it will give you the synonyms for those words. Of course, is, and, as, was, were, have, has, had, and, or, the. They're going to be repeated ad nauseum because they connect the different ideas together in the sentence to make the sentence more understandable. So yeah, here's hoping, if you're planning on being a fan fiction writer, that you have fun with it. Eventually you might find a talent for writing, period, and want to branch out. Don't do what Stephanie Meyer did. Don't have a dream and, oh my god, it's a fan fiction, I'll write it as a fan fiction first. Oh, it's gonna make a good book, I'll just make a book out of it. Or that stupid woman who did the 50 Shades of Drek. Don't launch your story or your book off of the back of someone else's work. If it's too similar, you'll get popped for plagiarism, and jail time and losing everything you own is just not worth it. Take ideas from dozens of different sources. If you want to do, say, a book on witches and wizards and magic, read more than just the Harry Potter series. Explore, do research and explore witches and wizards and history and that kind of stuff. Make sure that your story is not going to be the exact same thing as someone else wrote, because it will get you into trouble. I can guarantee it. It will get you into trouble. There's an infinite number of ideas out there. You just have to mine for them and then own them as only you can. So I hope this was helpful, and I will see you next Saturday for another chat. Have a great day, and if it's raining where you are like it is here, I don't know, play Scrabble or something. Have a good one, folks.